We all want the Canadian dream. Canada dream, not Carney dream. This net zero or emission is not going to help anybody.
Something unexpected came out of a recent closed-door conversation between China's top diplomat Wang Yi and leaders from the European Union. And now it's turning heads across the globe. Wang Yi, who is China's foreign minister, told the European Union officials something surprisingly honest. He said that Beijing is worried that if Russia loses the war in Ukraine, then the United States might turn its full attention to pressurizing China next. Now, this particular comment, first reported by South China Morning Post, reportedly stunned the European diplomats who were in that particular room. The meeting took place in Brussels, where Wang met with several senior European Union leaders, including Kazakh.
The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi recently made a statement that China cannot allow Russia to lose in this war of aggression against Ukraine, right? Why would he say that? For the mere fact that a full attention of U.S. on China will be bad for China. Simple. So the claim that China is neutral to this war in Ukraine is pretty pathetic, right? It's quite pathetic. Here's the thing. Although China is not directly participating in this war, it's also not stopping its businesses from partnering up with Russian companies and supplying them with critical components such as drones, right? So it will appear that all these dictators are joining together, right? You have China, again, supplying Russia with dual critical components for their drones. You have Iran, that's also supplying Russia with Shahed drones and various other ammunitions, right? And then you have North Korea, that is supplying Russia with artillery, millions of artillery shells, as well as thousands, if not 10,000s of soldiers that are fighting in Ukraine, on Ukrainian soil, in the continent of Europe. So you have people from Asia invading Europe. Anyway.
Hours of sirens, explosions, and anti-aircraft fire. Last night, Russia launched 400 drones and 18 missiles, most targeted on Kyiv. We could see and hear it all in the center of the city. Russia manufactures 5,000 Shahed drones a month. Some are deadly, but some are decoys designed to use up increasingly scarce air defense ammunition, because the Russians know that Ukraine is running short of the weaponry it needs to defend its cities.
July 4th, Russia sent a massive air assault of various types on Ukraine, including drones, all types of ballistic missiles. In total, in just one day, there was about 540 combination of drones and missile strikes, not on military installations, but more so on civilian infrastructure, such as cities, apartments, hospitals, schools, churches, you name them. Anything that is not military, Russia wants to hit, right? This is sad. This is very sad. You would think that after all this time, with all these sanctions on Russia, they won't be able to fund this war. But it's quite the contrary, right? It will appear that Europe, and NATO, although they condemn this war of aggression on Russia, they're still a participant in helping fund Russia's war of aggression on Ukraine, right? Why do I say that? Well, here's the thing. In 2022, Europe spent about $21.9 billion in buying Russian oil and petroleum products. That's just in 2022. In 2023, European Union spent $16 billion in Russian oil products, right? In 2024, they spent $23 billion. In 2025, this year, going into the next year, will be $21.9 billion to $23.5 billion. Total, from 2022 to 2025, roughly estimating 83.9 billion euros has gone into Russia funding the war of aggression on Ukraine. Put this in perspective, what this means. It means, in layman's terms, 83.9 billion euros is about 98 billion US dollars and about 134 billion Canadian dollars. Right? This money has gone to Russia, and we all know what they're doing with that money. The total destruction of Ukraine. So, here's the question. If we truly believe that this war has to end, right, why are we still buying stuff from dictators? Why are we buying oil from Russia? Why are European Union still funding Russia when other democratic countries can provide them with exactly what they need? Right? And this is where Canada comes in. This is exactly where Canada comes in. That $134 billion Canadian could have gone to Canada if this Bill C-69 was repealed. Right? Repeal Bill C-69, Canada can provide Europe and the European Union, as well as Asia, with LNG, with all the oil that they require at market price so that we can also make profit. We need to diversify. We need to think farther than how things are going. If we're truly in crisis, why do we still have Bill C-69 there? Right? We need to get rid of Bill C-69. It's the only way for democratic nations to stand together and help each other out so that these dictators cannot unilaterally just go and attack their neighbors. Right? We all want the Canadian dream. Canada dream, not Carney dream. This net zero or emission is not going to help anybody. Only a few who have invested in these things. Repeal Bill C-69. This is the only way to go. My name is Fred. This is the Max Review. See you next time.